Caitlin Clark to LA. This is what you got to understand about Caitlin Clark, the Fever, LA, and Stephanie White. First off, everything's about money. This is about money. The first 2 years, Caitlin Clark made a lot of money for Indianapolis. Hotels, airplane tickets, restaurants, tourism. I think it was at 200 million or 400 million, I don't know. But she made a lot of money for Indianapolis. Now, she made a lot of money for the Fever. And she's the reason all of these other players got a raise. They're not riding a bus anymore. They're getting chartered flights. Why are they still against her? She has done nothing but good to everyone that's come in contact with her. Now, she will eventually go to LA. Everybody ends up in LA, except Michael Jordan, because that's the biggest market that makes money. She's already made money for Indy. And the owner of the Fever, she's made him a lot of money. He's still making money, but nowhere near the money he made before. So she will eventually go to LA because that's the biggest market. Now, I wrote some notes down. Stephanie in the front office hate her. They want her to play a certain way. She doesn't play a certain way. She plays her way, her style. Either Stephanie's going to go or Caitlin's going to go. The Fever don't want to say, we traded her, because that looks bad for them. And Caitlin is a nice person. She doesn't want to say, I quit, I'm leaving, I'm mad. She doesn't want to be a diva. They say, oh, she's a diva. She's not a diva. She's probably the nicest person you'll ever meet. She's brought up very strict with very standards. And her father has always said, don't leave a job, don't leave a team. So she doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to walk out. What she needs to do is go. She needs to get out of there today. If I was her, I would get on a plane today. I would get on a Greyhound bus if I have to and get out of that city and go to LA. The biggest culprit is her agent. The agent is supposed to deal with this stuff and handle this stuff. The agent's not doing their job. She should fire the agent. Caitlin needs to be playing basketball. She needs to have her mind on basketball. She does not need to be worrying with this. That agent needs to go and have a meeting with Stephanie White and the front office and set them down and just start throwing things. That's what that agent needs to do. Now, if I was Caitlin Clark, I wouldn't have an agent. I'd be my own agent. Do you think I need an agent? I don't need an agent. Caitlin Clark needs to be her own agent. She needs to demand a meeting with the front office and Stephanie White, a closed door meeting. And she needs to tell them. And if she needs to say it's either me or Stephanie changes her ways. The way that they treated her the other night when she won the game was despicable. For Stephanie White to put her hands on Caitlin Clark on national TV, to tell her to get up and tell the other girl to sit down and take her out of the game the way she does, Caitlin should not put up with that. The more, Caitlin, they mistreat you, the more they're going to mistreat you. You've got to stand up for yourself. I know you're a young girl, and this is your third year in the league, but you got to stand up for yourself. You've got to learn. If to be the boss, you can't be everybody's friends. If you're running a business, you can't be everybody's friends. You can't be friends with those people, Caitlin. They are not your friends. Lexi Hall, Sophie, and AB are your friends. But the rest of those people on that team are not your friends. Stephanie White's not your friends. The front office is not your friends. Your bodyguard is your friend. But everyone else there is not your friend. And as you go through life being the best basketball player ever, you're going to come in contact with a lot of people that pretend to be your friends, and they're not your friends, okay? Your agent is not your friend. Fire your agent. Your agent's made a lot of money. They're going to go retire. Stephanie's going to eventually get fired. She's got some money. She's going to go retire. Everybody else made money off of you. But you've got to learn to be able to have a bomb. You don't have to blow the bomb up. You just got to show the bomb. You need to go in that front office with Stephanie White in there and show the bomb. You need to scream and holler and yell and say it's going to be like this or I'm going to go. You're not a subpar player. You are the best phenomenal player ever. You might go down bigger than Michael Jordan. If you could dunk, you probably would be. But anyway, you need to get out of Indianapolis. I said this last year. The Fever don't want to trade you. They want you gone, but they don't want to trade you. Caitlin doesn't want to walk out because she's not that type of person. She signed a contract. She's going to stay committed to it. If the Fever trade her, it looks bad on the Fever. If Caitlin leaves, it looks bad on Caitlin. But Caitlin, you got to do what's best for Caitlin. You cannot go through the world trying to please everybody and carry everybody on your back. You can't do it. You have got to go in there and say, yes or no, my way or her way. Yes or no, is she going to leave or is she going to change her way? Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark has got more basketball brains, skills than Stephanie White has in her little toe. I'm going to tell you right now. Stephanie White, to grab her arm and to treat her like that, the way she does, she hates Caitlin. She despises Caitlin. She's very mad about that three-point shot the other night. And there's going to be some retaliation against Caitlin and Sophie over that. Caitlin and Sophie and Lexi and AB, if I were all four of y'all, I would rent a car or rent a plane. I'd go to LA right now. But Caitlin will eventually end up in LA because this is about money. It's about money for the league. Right now, the league is stalled. Why? Because of Stephanie White in the front office. People are mad. They're not watching. They're not buying tickets. I don't know why Stephanie White is so bullheaded. She can't understand that. Anyway, rant. Caitlin Clark needs to fire her agent. Caitlin Clark needs to go to LA. Business is business. This is about money. It's not about basketball. This is about money. Everything on the planet is about money. Business is business. Right now, the league is not doing as good as it was the first 2 years. So, Caitlin needs to go to a big market and get everything moving again and make the fans happy. The fans are the ones that watch the TV to get the ratings and that buys the tickets and the shirts. So if something doesn't change, it's going to be bad for everybody. Caitlin's already got her money. She's going to make money no matter what. She could never touch another basketball again, and she's filthy rich right now. She's already made her money, but she just wants to play basketball. That's all. She just wants to pass the ball, shoot threes, run a fast break. That's what she wants to do. Let her be what she wants to be. But Stephanie White, her and Stephanie White are like this. You know, Caitlin, just go to LA and be done. You're going to be there anyway, probably before the end of the season. So, you know, it's kind of a messed up deal. The Fever want her to leave. They don't want to trade her. They want to save face. Caitlin's not the type of person to quit in the middle of a job. I mean, they're doing a soft smear saying she's a diva. She doesn't listen. Most of the players on her team don't like her either because they're jealous, you know. So, Caitlin Clark will eventually go to LA. Why? Because it's about money. Everything is about the pocketbook. It's about money. The sooner either the Fever trader or the sooner Caitlin Clark says, I've had enough, I've had it. Okay, right now, Caitlin's learning. She's learning the business. She's learning about backstabbers, liars, hanger owners, false friends. She's learning. She's young. Once she learns all this and learns who to stay away from, she's got a good 10-year career where she's going to make a lot of money. Then she's going to make a lot of money just being a commentator. So, yes, Caitlin Clark is going to LA. When? That's up to the Fever and Caitlin Clark. You know, I wish I could sit down with Caitlin and say, Caitlin, look, you need to go to LA. These people, they don't like you. They don't want you. They're holding you back. So that's my rant. Caitlin Clark to LA. The sooner, the better. Stop trying to save face. Caitlin, go. Fever, let her go. For the sake of me, so I can watch her play basketball and not sit on the bench and be mistreated. To mistreat her. Anyway, Caitlin, please go to LA. Look, if you like my videos, please like, subscribe, comment. Thanks. Caitlin is the best. The GOAT.